Okay, so this is my presentation for Q1, and this is the my science. So it's my book is called The First Book of Bugs. It's it's by Margaret Williamson, and you don't only learn about what bugs are. And what I like about it is you also read a story uh while you're like um learning about bugs. And this is my recording. So this is like about the fifth chapter of bugs. So the the female spiders. This is about spiders. The the female spiders are more bigger than the male spiders, and and they are the ones who eat the food, yeah, taking care of the babies, and then doing the dirty work. And then meanwhile, the males leave the females alone. And then there's the underground bug who makes silk hinges and then covers her house with leaves, dirt and leaves and twigs and stuff and dirty stuff so that it won't become flat in the ground. And once a bug comes up, she swings her door open and then eats it and then takes it back inside. There are some also poisonous spiders. For example, like the black widow. But it can but it's the only one I know that can poison humans. And then there's also the ants. They're ants. They don't live by themselves. There are hundreds and hundreds of them in their hive. And there are a lot of them in our house. So basically, when there is a lot, the worker, the queen, the female ant, the male ant, the nursemaid, and stuff like that. And then, so there's there's also the queen and the king and the male. So they mate, but they fly mating, and then the male dies. I wish the female would have rather died. And then she would rub off her wings because she wouldn't need them, and then walk calmly back to her hive, and then have babies, and then lick the larvae, and then she would feed them the food in her stomach. It, I did. Anyway, so it's done. Okay, so that's my recording for the Book of Bugs. So for the next one, my next one is the math. It's a book of life of Fred, and it's called Ice Creams. So I studied something from ice creams, and I learned about sigma notation. But Stan said I'll learn more sigma notation in the intermediate series. And then there's also the and oh wait. For example, sigma notation goes like it's like a multiply thing, sh- a shortcut to multiplying stuff. And so it's like, for example, like you want to do 7 times 7, but you I mean, you want to do 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. But you, uh, you don't need to just put the multiplication times. So when you use the sigma notation, it's so you like draw the sigma sign, which is like this, and then you can put a number on top or a number at the bottom. So like for example, like 3i and and I mean 3xi, and then you put something at the bottom saying like I equals 4. And then at the top you put 6. But it has to be a bigger number. The one on top has to be a bigger number than the one on the bottom, because the bottom is the starting number of the of the of the times. For example, like 3 times 4, 3 times 5, so it starts with 4. And then it ends with 6. So that's sigma notation. And I also learned that sigma is a capital S in Greek. uh, and there's this game that Stan taught me how to do. It's like when do you add, subtract, or multiply or divide? So take Fred's calendar for an example. There are 85 years in his calendar, and there are 12 months in a year. So how many months would be in an 85-year calendar? Do we add, subtract, or multiply or divide? So it's basically like that game. And then Stan said, even without thinking, we know that it would be 8 months, and it's because we multiplied. And I think I will learn about signal notation and jelly beans some more. Okay, anyway, so the third is my painting of tie-dye. And so, uh, this I got this inspiration from the messenger of Papa, the background, because you can choose the theme, right? So so Kuya was playing around with the themes. He was going around, and then he thought tie-dye looked best. So he put tie-dye there. And then so when I looked, I was shocked because I didn't know that there were themes. And then suddenly, that was like 2 years ago. But now in 2025, I remembered it. So I started to paint this. So that's where I got my inspiration. So this is my painting because I needed to improve my last one. It was very messy. Anyways, I'll tell you how I made it. I took some of the lightest blue and then I painted a circle with some straight wavy lines. And I also painted the inside. Then I put some wavy lines and shaped them into a circle. With the next lightest, and so on until I reached the darkest blue, and then I made a big ring around. By the way, so you have to escalate it as you go up. And then, yeah, that's all you need to do for the tie-dye. And I like it because it blends. I put some purple things here, like that. And then it's pretty easy, though it looks hard. And then for my fourth, it's the fun cabinet assembly. This was with Lolo in America. The Lolo who was in America. And then we were making a cabinet for our schoolroom because our schoolroom had actually a closet cabinet. So Mama bought this from IKEA. It's there. And then me and Lolo made one cabinet. So this was about in August. So this is me sitting down on the floor, making the cabinet for our shelves in the school. I will tell you how we made it. I was with Lolo Lito, and there were a lot of parts. So there were at least nine white, hard, stiff boards, and there was one brown, long one. For the back, it had a white cover naman. So we used the white cover under this so that the back will not be like that. So that the back won't be like brown and everything. And then there were at least 12 screws, supporters, and locks. There were two sets of positive and negative screwdrivers. So we put together the top and bottom layer first and then worked slowly until the middle one. And then we screwed on the locks. They're like this round thing with this slot inside them. You have to push the negative screw and then do it like that. And then we looked at the stand up. And then that's the middle cabinet. The one behind me. And then for the fourth, it's a Bible verse. It's actually our memory verse. Serve the Lord with, it's Psalm 102 to 3. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who has made us and not we ourselves. We are the people and the sheep of his pasture. Psalm 102 to 3. It's a memory verse, and I've got a recording. Psalm 102 to 3. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. And then for my sixth, it's the English grammar. It's called Grammarland by M.L. Nesbitt. I think he's the brother of E. Nesbitt. I'm not sure. So this is the judge, and these are his clients, Dr. Syntax, who the boys and girls are always afraid of, and Sergeant Parse, the nice one. So grammar is the art of speaking and writing a language. Propriety. Every land is grammar. Every man obeys its law. See, so cute. A book for good boys and good girls. In Grammarland, they use the names of the category of the words to name a person that is going to present their words. Wait lang. So, Mama, if you didn't get that, just ask me. I can repeat it if you want. In Grammarland, they use names of the category of words. Like, for example, noun. Like noun is the name of Mr. Noun. So, in this chapter, the schoolroom share or the students have to list down the words that the judge, this guy, tells them to write down. But the book doesn't just tell you stories. You can learn some words. This chapter 1 is about nouns. A noun, Mr. Noun, is a person, place, or thing. For example, a person, mama, papa, or baby. Next, a place, mall, house, or hotel. And last, a thing. So now to a person, place, or thing. Thing. A ball, phone, or book. So that's a noun. And for the seventh one, it's hele. Meatballs for hele. Meatballs. This was in 2025, September 26. This is when Kuya and I were making meatballs for tomorrow dinner so that Mama wouldn't have to, one, announce that we would have meatballs for the next day after tomorrow's dinner, and two, she wouldn't have to make meatballs next evening because it would be tiring, you know? So she let us do it. We used half and half of ground pork and ground meat, one large white egg, and 2 cups of bread soaked in milk. We had to mix the thing, of course, and then we morphed the meatballs. 50 each ball, so we had to weigh it with that thing. Well, so. And then we put it in the oven overnight. But once we are in our room, Kuya began to smell it. And then he's like, the smell of the lovely. Oi, be quiet, said I. But she probably must have had sinusitis to say that. Or she must have been asleep. And for science is this. I have something hard to pronounce here. So this is my name, the tiger swallowtail butterfly. This is my nature study of a tiger swallowtail butterfly. A butterfly that lives in either the United States or Canada. It's a pretty little butterfly. But however, one of its relatives, pipevine swallowtail, is poisonous. Pipevine swallowtails rely on plants called the genus Aristolochia as their host plants. Its babies from caterpillar form, they're spiky, suck juice out of those plants, which is poisonous. I wonder how they get those. And they are highly killing plants. And the more they suck on the plants, the more they get poisoned. I wonder how they get food from the poisonous plant without dying. Lucky them. Anyways, the tiger swallowtail also has this cousin called giant African swallowtail, and it's the most highly poisonous one. Actually, it's the most poisonous butterfly in the world. The most poisonous butterfly in the world. And it's the most highly poisoned one because its venom is highly recommended for killing. I also wonder where this one gets its poison, though. Probably runs through the blood of the family. The tiger swallowtail reminds me of the bell in Lola Belia's garden in Locos because it's very yellow and sometimes the insides of the flower are black. And I noticed that the butterfly has these kinds of scratched black lines on the back wings like a tiger. So I think that's why it's called tiger butterfly. But I don't know why they call it swallowtail. And then for the ninth, it's history. Alexander the Great. Sige, boy. Alexander was not content, he greedy, with the portion of the land he had gotten. So he set out to conquer the whole east. And he killed a lot of India. And finally, after a lot of killing, the king was tied up. But however, Alexander was impressed by his bravery. So he asked the king what he wanted and he set him free. And he got a freebie of being treated like a king. And since Alexander didn't want to fight him, he gathered up his men and said, "Now off to Babylon!" No, some of his men said. Alexander said, Okay, fine. They went back to Macedonia and partied hard. And Alex went out in the sun, but I think he got heat stroke because he went to the cold waters directly and he got heat stroke and he got after that he got heat stroke and he got a violent chill after. Then not after long he died. The end. And for the last one, it's called Filipino Stubborn Mafalda. So, Mafalda's nice. This is one of the stories of Lola Basyang. This story is called The Princess Who Became a Beggar, or in Filipino, Ang Prinsesa Naging Pulubi. The Princess Who Became a Beggar. In this story, the princess is a very proud girl who thinks she's most beautiful person ever. But when she grows up, she still hasn't changed her ways. She was still stubborn, she was still proud, she was still judging. So her father got mad at her for not choosing a husband. So his nose became crooked, his eyes like Quito, his legs moving like a duck, and him quaking all over. We didn't read it out yet. And so that's it. Oh yeah, this is my drawing. So these are all the suitors. There are a lot. And this is what Mafalda saying. Ugh, they're not as hot as me. Tanggalin mo ka. Mabagal mo. Pick me, gal. Lang, hello. Oh, she likes me best. What the frick? She's pretty. Be quiet. One-haired man, dude. No? Yahoo! Me! No, me. No. No, me. Me. Flocker. Flocker. That was my idea. No, was not me. So everybody was basically fighting me. And this is the trademark dude. This one is the trademark dude. because he has a beard like a goat, and he really wanted the princess heart. Okay, and that's